It was reported yesterday that a potential merger went sour between two of the world's largest crypto exchanges, being Binance and FTX. As a result, Bitcoin suffered a cascade of liquidations and dropped to 52-week lows. My heart sank. Bitcoin is now at price levels not seen since 2017. Will FTX fall into bankruptcy? Will this diminish trust in centralized exchanges? I don't know. Let's find out, though. Joining us now is Samson Mow, CEO of Jan3. It's a company paving the way in hyper-Bitcoinization or the mass adoption of Bitcoin across the world. Hi, Samson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good, man. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing during this bloody week in the crypto sphere? I know lots of people are losing money. Are you diamond hands over there or paper hands? How's it going? Tell us.
I'm a hodler, so unaffected. Most Bitcoin hodlers don't really care. The price will move up and down, but we're here for the long term. But right now, I'm in Argentina for the La Bitcoin conference that's happening this weekend.
Oh, very cool. I would love to hear more about that, but we do have to hop into the questions. Are we witnessing? Are we witnessing the Lehman Brothers of crypto sink before our very eyes, being FTX? You think they'll suffer the same fate as we saw during the 2008 housing crisis?
Potentially. I mean, they're trying to raise 9.4 billion right now to bail themselves out, but I just can't see any investors touching that with a 10-foot pole. It's going to be an uphill battle for them to get any money together, if at all.
Wow. And Andrew, I know you have a question here.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. In the long term, will the collapse in crypto exchanges lead, do you think, to more regulation, or will people consider the asset, as Warren Buffett calls it, rat poison?
Well, I think it's important to make a distinction. There's Bitcoin, and then there's everything else. So FTX sits firmly in the everything else bucket. They're in this mess because they printed their own token out of thin air, the FTT token, which they then used for collateral, and they treated it as if it was valuable. And this is why we're in this mess, and this is also why we're going to have more and more of these, because there are still many more companies that are building on top of these altcoins. They're just minted out of thin air. And it's not going to stop until suddenly we all go into Bitcoin and we just move to a Bitcoin standard. Basically, you can look at FTX and everything else as a casino, and these are all unlicensed securities that they're just dumping on the public, and there's no oversight. So, I mean, if regulators want to step in, I think they probably should, but the question is, how effective will that be? Because, you know, FTX are lobbying in DC, engaging with politicians. They have photos out there with the CFTC. So none of these people can really see it coming from a mile away, because these guys are so good at selling their story and making their shit not stink.
Yeah, oh yeah. We want to absolutely, but I do want to ask. You said something that was very important right there. You said these companies are minting coins out of thin air. So that's the defining factor between Bitcoin and coins such as BNB, such as even USDC or even US Tether, which are other coins that are kind of minted out of thin air. Although they do say that some of these are backed by one-for-one dollars. Is this true? Do you think Bitcoin is the only true cryptocurrency, or do you think some of these other coins truly have a chance in the future?
Well, Bitcoin is in a league of its own. It is actually decentralized, it's permissionless, and it has all the properties of sound money. Basically, it's like digital gold. You can teleport it around the world. You can verify it yourself on your own computer. But I would say there's a distinction between those other things you mentioned. So there are cryptocurrencies, and then there are stablecoins. So stablecoins are actually backed by dollar assets or dollar-denominated value. So USDT and the other stablecoins, they actually have dollars invested in treasuries or similar types of assets. So what we are looking at now are things like FTT, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and the likes of those. They're all minted out of thin air, and in large part they're minted by companies, right? They say they're a foundation, they say they're a Swiss foundation, and they're decentralized, but it's really just like a group of developers and business people running a project and marketing that project. So that is where the problem lies, and that I think is where regulators should crack down on.
Interesting. So Gary Gensler, the head of the Securities Exchange Commission, recently opened an investigation into FTX and their handling of consumer funds. He was warning investors to proceed with extreme caution when dealing with crypto exchanges. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say it's okay to use a crypto exchange, but don't leave your funds on the exchange. So in Bitcoin circles, we have a saying, not your keys, not your coins. And this is not a new lesson. This is a lesson learned from the collapse of Mt. Gox almost like a decade ago. So it's not something that people should need to be taught, because if you're in this space, you should know this lesson. And a lot of people were caught with their pants down because they left large balances on FTX. They were drawn into FTX because they had all these attractive trading products and very novel instruments that people could bet on. But I guess they just thought too highly of SBF, and a lot of them are regretting it now for sure.
Sam, fellow Sam here, question for you. If you're Tom Brady, what do you do? And is there an exchange you do trust?
Well, I would say any exchange that's been through a boom and bust cycle definitely is reliable. I'm a fan of Bitfinex. I like Kraken. Basically, all the older exchanges that are stable and have proven themselves to be responsible. As for Tom Brady, I don't know. I think he invested the bulk of his fortune into FTX,
Yeah.
600 million.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think he's in a pretty bad place right now. But if you look at the other investors in FTX, you have some pretty big names there. You have Sequoia, Temasek. You even have one of the Canadian teachers' pension funds, right? And again, like, it goes back to my earlier point. They're all just enamored with people that do these types of things because that's their job, to make you feel that they are in charge. They're doing something innovative, and it's all the same. And it's easy to fall for that. So I would say the rule of thumb is, if there is an altcoin or a token involved, you should not invest into that. And that should save your life savings in the future.
So if you were approached, I know you worked with El Salvador, if you were approached by the US government today and they said, hey, we need help creating regulations, what would be maybe the first two things you would suggest?
I would say treat Bitcoin in a class of its own. Bitcoin is just money, and you should not try to regulate money. So if Bitcoin is digital gold, then gold is gold. You shouldn't regulate people's gold holdings. It's just money. And I think that's critical to human civilization. Money is just an instrument by which we can trade and engage with one another. And now with the advent of Bitcoin, information is money and money is information. So if you want to regulate money, period, then you really need to build a very strong surveillance state. You need to ban VPNs. You need to search people regularly and track all of their movements in order to regulate that effectively. So don't touch Bitcoin. Regulate the cryptocurrencies. Everything that is printed out of thin air and claims to be decentralized, they're not. So you can definitely go after them. You know who they are, and they have very public faces that are marketing this to the public.
What about other companies that have like revenues from other streams? For instance, like Robinhood, they don't only make the revenue out of crypto trading. Neither does Cash App, and apps such as the like. Do you believe these kind of apps are also trustworthy, or do you think you should run and transfer them to a cold storage wallet as soon as possible?
Well, generally, I would say Cash App is fine. It's spun up by Square, right? And they're big in the payment space. Robinhood is a regulated operator in the space, so they're reliable. FTX has always been a bit questionable. So in case you don't know, FTX was born out of Alameda Trading or Alameda Research. But that's a hedge fund or prop trading fund. I don't know if you guys watch the show Billions, but imagine Bobby Axelrod. He's saying, I'm going to launch an exchange now. Would you want to trade on that exchange?
Yeah,
it's highly
probably
likely
not.
him and his guys
Yeah.
are going to trade against you or use your funds, and that's exactly what they did.
What sucks, we have to wrap this up soon, dude, but what sucks a lot is I know Voyager was about to be acquired by FTX, and now it's in question whether that acquisition will happen at all. And all those people who were about to get some kind of, I don't know, return, pennies on their dollar.
Disclosure, full disclosure.
Yeah, full disclosure, I was caught with my pants down too. I had money on Voyager.
You want to know on
Yeah.
Voyagers if you can get your money back.
Do you think this will have a long-standing effect on that acquisition? What's your thoughts?
I would say it's going to be hard to imagine FTX following through with any of their previous obligations unless they've already closed. So you might be out of luck.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. We truly
And that's the
appreciate
end of our
insight.
interview.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Wow, fascinating. All
Yeah,
right.
Samson.
Yeah, great stuff, Robert. Good deal. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more 5 Live right up ahead, including a Facebook check-in. Get your Facebook questions in.
Sorry,
Facebook.com/KTLA5
Robert. I don't think that was the answer you wanted.
/KTLA5
Yeah, well, I'll continue being patient. I'm a hodler too. I'll be here with my diamond hands as long as possible.